Was he?
Yeah. Because he was real good friends with the Joneses, just the people Jones on the movie.
I see.
He ran it for him, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like 6 or 7 investors, I think, when they built that track. So, yeah.
Mary.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The city needed that.
I know that's right.
I think we're live, but guys, you guys want to go ahead and sit?
Sure.
Yeah. Gary, you in the middle, of course. Me in the middle? Okay.
Yeah, I think we're live. So
All righty.
on YouTube, but we're not live on Facebook yet. So. No stories until we're ready for them.
Me talking about Lakeside, I might have been giving out false information already. about the old days.
Everybody's sitting on YouTube like, man, that guy don't know what he's talking about.
Exactly. That ain't no lie. Yep. Yep.
Well, that's probably the first time you've heard that.
Yeah.
My wife tells me that repeatedly at least 3 or 4 times a day, so.
We're born with that programmed into our brain.
Right. Yep.
But, I ought to turn that off, I guess. Otherwise, we'll all get distracted and watch it, so.
Watch them racing while we're doing shit.
Yeah. Man, I want to go to the World Final so bad.
That would be
see
fun.
them things.
Yep. Yep.
That's got to be a spectacle.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a bucket list thing.
Yeah. I finally made it in 19. I made it to the World 100.
Did you? I
To
see.
Eldora.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat there and was sitting in the stands, was like looking at the track, and just like I was more watching the track than I was actually watching the car.
You got the old phone.
Yeah.
Just the history there.
Right.
You know?
It's about time. It's time, girl.
Yep. Yep.
It is
It is
7
time.
o'clock.
It is 7 o'clock. All right.
Let's fire this thing up here.
I think I'm ready. I think. Make sure we got sound right off the bat too. On the computer. On the computer. Not there.
On the
Yeah.
computer.
We're live. Yep, we're see it flashing.
Live, yeah.
Hey, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Works Local Racing Roundup. Tonight is going to be Pure Stock Special Night. And as you can see, I've got a couple of Pure Stock drivers sitting right here with me. How about that? Down on the end, co-hosting tonight is Darren the Bear Christie. And sitting here in the middle is Gary Billings Jr. And we are going to try to talk a little bit about pure stock racing tonight and what it's like, how it got where it is, and, you know, just how much fun it is. As Gary and I talked on the phone the other night about you've done quite a bit of other racing, but kind of settled in on the pure stock and I think found a home, and I think you were saying it's just fun.
It is. It is a lot of fun. I mean, racing with guys like Bear and, you know, Jason Ryan, my cousin Junior, you know, Spencer Reef, them guys are a lot of fun to race with. It's close racing, but we don't do a lot of touching.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Marshall, I can't forget Marshall because Marshall gives me crap every week, so I got to give him crap too. So.
But kind of switching over to you, Bear, boy, the Christie family has played a pretty intricate part in this pure stock deal in that I want to use the word revived it or get it started, because it's kind of taken several different places in racing as it went along, and I think we've referred to it probably along the line as factory stocks, maybe street stocks back in the old days.
Right.
But now we're down to pure stocks, but like I say, the Christies have really played a big part in that.
Well, the factory stocks in, say, 2012, I think it was kind of leaning more towards the stock cars. And there was some tracks, the smaller tracks that was running the pure stock class, and some of the area tracks. And us ourselves, in 2013 was the last year we had a stock car, and my dad's like, we got to back up. And so anyway, we had a pure stock that year. I ran both cars that I ran at Heartland Park, and I liked it, you know, and it was a fun class, good group of guys up in Heartland that I ran with, and we just kind of decided to kind of go away from the factory stock, which was going to the stock cars, and kind of backed up. And then, of course, but after I run it, we started going to CMS and running. Enjoyed that when Earl opened it back up, and then pretty much Dad wanted to get another car, and of course Jason was going to be his driver. And so anyway, that's kind of how it evolved,
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, and the rest is history.
and the rest is history, yeah.
I would like to know how many actual pure stocks there are out there. Does either one of you guys want to make an educated guess on that? It seems like there's a bunch because, like you said, there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
How many?
There's pretty full field everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say because they're running them at Valley has some. I'm trying to think of in order of Friday nights. Lakeside.
right.
Any other Friday nights? 36.
Yep. Humboldt runs like a pure stock class. They call them factory stocks
Do
down
they?
there, but it's like a pure stock class down
Yeah.
at Humboldt. So
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Saturday night. CMS.
Yep.
I-35.
I-35. Yep.
Bethany.
Right. Valley. I don't know if
Or-
Valley's going to run them this year.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then Nevada.
Yeah.
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 So boy, that sounds like it could be 60,
Right.
70 pure stocks, let's say, in
Well,
the central region.
I do my bear stock thing for the top three, and I think I had just about 70 cars this year, and that's just top three finishers.
Wow.
So, you think of the guys that finish on back. I'm thinking close to the area tracks within 125 miles. I'm thinking probably close to 100.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But man, that's excellent because it's a beginner class, I want to say, for guys that want to get into sport.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a class for guys, like you're saying, we want to take a step back.
Step back, yeah.
It's a class for good competition.
Right.
Because really, sometimes between the pure stock and the stock cars, you're going to see the two best races of the night. Sorry, folks. Sorry out there, but that's my feeling. I mean, what am I? I'm just a talk show host or whatever you call this.
I'm a stock.
Well, it's been that way. It's been that way for a lot of years because when me and him were talking about when Lakeside first opened back up dirt, that was one of the best classes to watch. I mean, I really think it was. I mean, back when it first started, I mean, what did you guys have? Close to
there was
80
like
cars that showed
something
up
like
every.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
just making the A feature
Just
was
getting
something,
there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was fun to watch back then. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a really good class.
Yeah, absolutely. And like say, a B feature too, man. You just getting there was
Right.
a good result for the night. Just getting
Yep.
in the A.
Get this, how times change. That first year it went to dirt, and the factory stocks, we raced for $100 to win. Yeah. And we did that for 2 or 3 years. We ran for $100. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
So, yeah.
Oh my! Wow.
I know. Times change.
Anyway, we will also here later on get into hopefully a little bit more of the history of pure stock, how it's evolved. I'm sure you folks know that are going to be watching that we're going to be having John Renfro and Ron Parsley on, and that goes back into the 70s, I think, if I remember right, 60s and 70s back there when both of them were racing. But we'll get into that later. But right now, what the idea with having Gary here tonight, by the way, points champion at Lakeside Speedway in the pure stocks in 2020, 8 wins.
Yeah.
Man, you had to just be happier than heck. I think it seemed. Well, here's another thing. I was on your Facebook page today, and
We were stalking it.
and it seemed like every time I flipped to a new picture, Hoss, there was a winner circle shot there, and I'm thinking, man, how many did this guy win here?
Yeah, man.
But how many week season did they get in it? Like
I think it was 13.
13. So you
13. Yeah, I think it was 13.
you were
or
over
14.
half the wins then for the pure
Yeah,
stock.
we had a really good year. I still, if you had to have me explain it, I don't know if I could because I would have never guessed it would have been that good. I mean, it.
Oh, that's right.
We just hit the ground running and the car handled good and it was fast and things just went our way and I'm not very good at this, so how it happened, I have no idea, but I'm glad it did.
Okay. I think this is this year's car we've got right here. I think that is Lakeside, I think. I always forget to start these videos on the first person. I always forget, and I've got like 30 pictures or something, and I'm rushing through them at the end. But let's see if I can find the line where the pictures are. Oh, there it is. Move on up here. We got a few here at first, but what I wanted to do was, I think there it is. There's a picture of you in a modified. Now,
Yeah.
you ran some modifieds and late models. Now, is this a B mod or an A mod?
That was an IMCA A mod.
Okay.
I believe that picture there was probably CMS because it had a spoiler on it. I think Thunderhill got rained out, and I bolted a spoiler on it and decided to go down there and see what happened. And it didn't turn out very well.
Well, I would say CMS is probably not the place to test, right?
Yeah.
Is that not right, Bear? I mean, you're talking about some competition down there. I don't know, like what year did you say?
That was 2018 when the car was brand new.
Okay, well, still, 2018. I mean, that's a monster class.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Down there, as well as most of them, because they're paying money down there.
Yeah.
Why, they're getting some top-notch cars.
Yeah.
But now, how long were you in a modified?
I ran that car there in 18 and 19. Just basically always IMCA. I didn't go very many different places other than basically Thunderhill.
Yeah. Okay, now here we go. We got a late model. Now, was this ULMA?
That was ULMA.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, that kind of looks like CMS, too.
It is. Yep. That would have been probably 2015.
Okay. Now, Gary, you're getting into some pretty sophisticated race equipment here, buddy. I mean, these late models. That's
yeah, but I wasn't very good at it. You got to remember that part of it.
That's nothing to sneeze at. But I mean, that, like I say, did you do any schooling on this, or?
School hard knocks, a lot of it.
Yeah.
The late model stuff. I ran an open car in 2005, 2006, and ran MLRA and NCRA and Tora and stuff like that. And the thing about the late model compared to then till now, I mean, I had more money in that car there than I did my open car in 05 and 06. And the technology, I mean, you almost have to have an engineer working on your car all the time because the shock technology, I mean, they don't even scale them anymore. They just put load sticks everywhere. And
really?
Yeah, I mean, it's all load stick, and I mean, the shocks they're running is, I mean, you just can't even imagine how much it is.
No, I can't.
I had a lot of the stuff that was, I just thought I could get by with, not some of the stuff I needed.
Okay, here's the first of these winner's pictures, Bear. Are you ready to get bored here?
Oh, heck, man.
Like I say, man, every time I flipped one, I thought, here's another winner shot. Now I got to mix some stuff in the middle here. People are going to get tired of looking at these. But fill us in on the group here, by the way, since we're on this.
The one on the left.
Now, your left in the picture?
Be on my right.
You're right, in the
that's
picture.
Mike McCullough.
Okay.
He came in. Casey is standing there by the front tire. He is partners in the car with me.
Okay.
And me and him have done 90% of the work on it. Mike has helped us in the pits. Like, Casey had to go out of town for work, and I was going to be there by myself, so he got a hold of Mike, and Mike come out, and then Mike just stayed out there and kept helping us every week, and was a big help. And then Casey was one by the front tire, and then the young lady that was holding the trophy, that's Casey's daughter, Rachel, which is my cousin.
Okay. Now this looks like typical racer time at the track. It's hurry up and wait.
Yeah, we were waiting on driver's meeting.
Yeah. Hurry up, get here. Come on.
Looks like one of them hot nights.
Yeah, that's a hell of a physique on that guy.
Yeah. Especially the midsection there.
I mean, I got Dad on my chest. I might as well say Dad bod on that deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the ripple effect on that, right under that.
Well, I was trying to keep a little bit more relaxed so you didn't see all the muscles pop out.
Yeah, I can imagine if you knew that picture was coming.
I don't think I can suck it in that far.
Oh, man, I'll tell you.
When Mike goes through Facebook, man, he can get some good.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping you'd miss that.
I tell people, don't put nothing up on Facebook you don't want on this show.
Right.
That is the truth. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Here's Dad.
Yeah, that's me. That's me and my boy.
Now,
That's my pride and joy right there.
how long ago was this? Because I think he's bigger than that now.
Yeah,
ain't he?
he's 14 now and can throw about a 180 mile an hour fastball. He's a heck of a little pitcher.
Yeah.
Hates racing, which I
Oh,
don't know.
really?
I was just going to ask you,
He hates racing.
So he's a baseball player?
Yeah, he's all about sports.
I
And
see. Right.
but he was probably, I think that was probably around 2010 or so.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll be darned. It looks like you're back in black here now.
that was actually my brother-in-law, my wife's brother. That was his car.
Oh, okay. All right.
We put it together. He was trying to get rid of it, and so we put it together, put my motor in it, and I ran it for one of the first races that they actually brought ULMA out to Lakeside, and the car was leaking oil out of the shocks. I mean, it was a mess.
Whoa. That might
Yeah,
be hard
it
to
was-
adjust for tonight.
But it was fun. We had a good time. We laughed about it. So
Yeah. I speak from experience from that, from running these. You get a leaky shock and handling really great, and all of a sudden you go in the corner and what the heck was that? And it had to be terribly worse doing this than what, because you're in the car. I'm not.
yeah, and that was pretty fast that night, if I remember. A lot of holes, and the right
that'd be-
rear
that'd
shock
be
was
terrible.
junk, and
Yeah.
it was just. I mean, I think I'm not very smart, anyways, but I think I lost a few brain cells from bouncing off the gate that night.
Oh, shoot. Any idea where this is, Gary?
That looks like I-35,
Okay.
and that would probably been about 2014.
Okay. I got to ask you some questions about pure stocks here. We're,
Okay.
we're talking about pure stocks. There we go. There's another one.
I love to look at pictures.
Yeah, no kidding. You and me both. Gary, how did this racing thing start with you? How did you get an interest in it?
Birth. Basically, the day
Birth.
I came out, I was born into it. My whole family, all my uncles, my Uncle Donnie, all of them have been involved in racing.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad raced at the old Riverside.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think
so-
I remember. What was his name?
Gary.
Okay, Garyville. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was always number 10, blue and white.
Yeah.
And then he got burned up at the old Lakeside. He had sold his street stock to a guy that helped him, and he had bought a late model, and he never got the late model out because he promised my mom that if he ever couldn't make it to work because he got hurt in a race car, that he would no longer do it.
Yeah.
And he missed work for a week, so
Yeah.
he sold everything
That
and
was
got
it.
out.
That's
Yeah.
it. Done.
So, but yeah, that's how I got into it. And when, when all the kids at school, they liked George Brett and Willie Wilson and all
Yeah.
that stuff, I was Doug Wolfgang and Gene Claxton and Joe
well,
Kosiski and
yeah.
them guys. And my mom used to get mad at me because every time they did school pictures, I had a racing shirt on.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Where did it come to the point? Like I say, we've seen lots of pictures here, modified, late models. When did it come to the point where you just kind of finally decided, you know what, the fun's starting to disappear out of this for me, and you kind of, I guess, must have started thinking about pure stocks, but tell us a little bit about, was your thinking on that, why you wanted to get out of the modifieds and late models and go to a pure stock?
2019, that's when we had a lot of floods, a lot of rain, stuff like that. One weekend I drove all the way to West Plains to race a 2-day race just because we hadn't raced all the way to Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And at that point, it started getting to a point where it wasn't fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided that I was going to quit in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually put my modified up for sale. And all of a sudden, Janet Billings' memorial race come up, which Janet was my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent a lot of time in the summer over at Uncle Donnie and Aunt Gail's with Denise and Junior and Janet. And I just decided I was going to try and rent a car just to race it and just to be a part of it. I just wanted to be a part of it. There wasn't even anything entered my mind about running good in it. Or just wanted to be a part of it. And Jason Carney had his car for sale, but nobody knew anything about it. And Anthony Whitman actually had messaged me on Facebook, and he said, hey, a friend of mine that's got a car for sale if you're interested. And I was like, well, how much does he want for it? And he said, well, he wants $6,500, turnkey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, let me think about it. Well, then Casey had called me at that point because I put a thing on Facebook that I wanted to rent a car just to run that race. And I would have paid for anything I tore up. And but he called me and he's like, man, I've been looking at cars too. So, in which Denise is married to Casey, which was Janet's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So that was her brother-in-law. And so I told him about that car that Jason Carney had. And he's like, well, let's go look at it. Well, then about halfway up there, he's like, what do you think about me and you just going in partners with this deal? And I was like, well, I don't care. He goes, I know you want to run it. And he goes, I know. And he goes, if anything else, we'll run that race and we'll sell it. You know? And I was like, that's fine. Well, we went to the Janet race.
It's only 65.
We laughed.
That's nothing.
We laughed so hard, and we had so much fun. Well, we ended up getting it for 55, so we got a great deal.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are on one knee. Please, we want to run this race, please.
And we had so much fun that first race with that. We talked about it, running it the following week, and then it got rained out at Lakeside, so then we ended up just talking about it a little bit more, and it's like, well, what do we do? Let's put a body on it, and let's see. All right, let's just run it. You know? So it didn't take a lot of twisting, because that's the first time. I think I actually talked to you that night because we were in the same heat race. You know, I was like, I never knew that these things were so fun. I mean, they're just fun. I mean, when you grow up as a kid, you know, you sit there and you go to the old tracks, and I just remember sitting in the stands, and all I ever wanted to do is be a race car driver. You know, I just wanted to be like them guys. And something about that class, it just takes you back to just being a race car driver.
I have heard comments similar to that today, probably 2-3 times, if nothing else. Well, honestly, Ron Parsley's boy, Ronnie, he was telling me, he said it was the funnest time I had in my life, and growing up around it, he said it was just every Saturday night, you knew it was going to be fun. We had a good time.
Right.
Like I say, it's just a part of it. It seems like for everybody.
Well, and I feel like when you're like in the modifieds, and that was my Aunt Sharon, Joey Cates, my Uncle Ronnie, my dad, and then my brother-in-law is just to the right there by the front tire. And that was back in the old I-70 days, and my dad used to crew for Joey Cates.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've got 3 pictures of him on here.
Yeah.
From somewhere. I don't know if it's this. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But you know, that's the thing with the modifieds and the late models nowadays. They cost so much, it just puts a lot of pressure, and it just takes all the fun completely away from them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the stuff's too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're talking about a modified, that you know, I hear guys that are buying some of these new cars that are upwards of $80,000 turnkey.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, that's
tell me about
and then wipe them out one night.
Right.
You know.
Right. Speaking of money, here's my next question. Speaking of money, I was told there was a racer last year that had a $20,000 pure stock. Could or should the powers that be, if there are any track owners, I don't know who they are, try to limit money spent on building these kind of cars? I mean,
yes.
This is. Barry, you can weigh in on this too, if you would, please. Dad, the fisherman here, by the way. I think I seen some bluegill. Maybe some crappie.
Yeah, he slays them. All I get to do is take him off the hook. I never catch anything.
Haven't trained him on that yet. Sounds like me trying to get my boy to change a spare tire. Anyway, the powers that be, are there any that can control that? I mean, to me, it's just such a fun class. I hate to see it ruined by money, and it seems like anytime you get money involved in it, the competition level changes or whatever. But
well, I think the biggest thing is they have to police shocks. That's the biggest thing that ruin late models and modifieds is shocks. The harder you hook the cars up, the more power you put down. They need to police motors better. They checked just about everything on our car that they could check. Everything was legal. Mm-hmm. The only thing they never did was tear the motor apart. Mm-hmm. Me and Marshall both asked them if they were going to do it because we wanted them to do it. But there's rumors about guys supposedly having different compression and different cylinders, things like that. All that stuff needs to be checked.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't let the racer pick it.
Yeah.
You pick it.
Well, you coming from IMCA, then that's probably what you're familiar with, because I think they do quite a bit more of that in IMCA than, and I'm not criticizing USRA or USRA rules, however you want to look at it, but like I say, you're familiar with that, so it's in the back of your mind, you know it's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Barry, you got anything to say about that?
Being in the salvage business about 15 years ago, we could build a, pretty cheap car. That stuff's getting all hard to find now.
Yeah.
You can't find the stuff. So what are you going to do? You're probably going to have to go to a speed shop, something like that, to get stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
But your technology each year, things, progress each year. And, of course, that raises the price on things. I don't know, to be competitive, guys are going to spend the money.
Oh, heck yes.
For this and that, but...
some of them will have it, but can't handle it.
Right.
I don't know how to say that. Can't drive it or whatever, but...
Well, my deals, as far as the pure stock nowadays, you used to take a car, cut the top off of it, put a roll cage in it. Now you build a modified, basically, and you put a body around it.
Really?
Yeah, basically,
Even a pure stock's getting to that.
Yeah. I mean...
Holy smoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's ways they can bring it in, but the bad thing about it is it's just like with the changing of the sanction out at Lakeside and then going to NASCAR. I mean, racers just completely explode about it. I've never ran NASCAR, so, I mean, you ran it. I mean, it's a wait-and-see type deal. It might be the best thing in the world. It might be the worst.
Yeah.
But, I mean, people want to do certain things, but the bad thing about it is and don't get me wrong, I think the tech out at Lakeside was really good last year. We were on the lift a lot. But the thing about it is, I think we need to make sure that shocks stay in place, because the cars have evolved enough to where the rules and building a car right now isn't terribly expensive. It's expensive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not to a point where you can salvage the class right now. If they start allowing gas shocks and they start allowing built shocks and things like that, and they don't police it, we're going to be in a boat to where we can never get back out.
You're going to be chasing stock cars.
Yeah, well, it'll push everybody. Yeah, we'll be pushing everybody out of it.
Yeah, you'll be chasing stock cars like B mods are almost as crazy as A mods.
Yeah.
Anymore. But what's the best thing you can say about pure stocks?
A lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. I mean, it's a great group. It's a great group of guys. It really is. I mean, me and Marshall, fought out there quite a bit this year, back and forth, and me and him every week we would just get out and laugh and give each other crap, and I mean, and everybody out there has been really nice. It's just been a good class. You can race hard, but you don't have to run over each other. You might touch from time to time, but I really feel like that for the most part, none of the guys are trying to run over each other. They're just trying to get their little bit of real estate, and they'll run right up on your door, and they'll race you hard, but they're not going to try and run over you.
I think you had 2 posts that I found on your Facebook page that I really like. I may have to turn around and read them. Racers will call me and say, I can't figure out what my problem is. I tell them, go look in the mirror and ask yourself these 2 questions. Do I go racing to be the best that I can and make my team the best it can be? Or do I go racing to hang out and have buddies and have a good time? And then you'll figure out your problem. I love it, man. I don't know where you got that.
That Mark Richards from Rocket Chassis posted that earlier this year, and I don't think there's a truer statement in the world. I mean, it's this guy, as long as he's been doing it, he can tell you how much work it is. And if you're going to be successful, you're going to have to work. And you're going to have to work. And we worked and worked and worked this year. And, I give a lot of credit to Casey.
You said Casey. Now, what's Casey's last name?
Risley. Yeah, and
Risley.
he used to race back in the day, and he actually he had the car that Allie Mulick drove.
Oh, okay.
In
right.
E-Mod.
Okay.
And he pushed me a lot further than I had to push him, and like coming in with somebody that's been inside the car too, and they're outside watching. It's always good when you wheel into the pits, because there's a couple times that I did some things that maybe I thought I had more room than I did, and he would be the first to tell me. He's like, "Hey, man, that was kind of bad." You know? And I was like, "Man, I thought I had a lot of room. Are you sure?" He's like, "Nah, it's pretty bad."
Yeah, that hole wasn't there you were looking for.
Yeah, he goes, "You didn't hit him, but you was really close." And I mean, one of them was Cody Ornberg, and I had to go apologize to him the week after.
Yeah.
I let him calm down because he's not a small guy. But I did go apologize to him because I don't want anybody to. I mean, I'm new to the class, so I didn't want anybody to think that I was going to race him that way. You know?
Yeah. May I never know a life without racing.
I don't think I'll ever be able to.
As you said earlier, it seems like, I wouldn't say I was born into it, but boy, once I got the smell and the taste, man, I was hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And it's stuck with me a lifetime.
Yeah.
It really has.
Same here.
And, man, I love every minute of it.
Me too.
Absolutely
I
do.
think about it every day.
Well, I'm almost
And
there
they
now.
always say the men only think about one thing. They got us all wrong this whole time.
Yep.
Gary, we've run out of time, buddy. I thoroughly enjoyed this, but I know there's got to be some folks out there that helped you get through this season, and I know you're just dying to thank all of them.
Yeah. I gotta, first and foremost, I gotta thank my wife. I gotta thank my son for being very accepting for Dad not being able to work on pitching as much last summer. I promise we're gonna do that this year.
Yeah.
Because we're not gonna be racing as much, if at all, with work the way it's going. But you know, I gotta thank them for first and foremost, because they're always there for me. Anytime I need something, I mean, they're
You got to
both
have
always
family.
there.
If you ain't got family, man, you're lost. I'm sorry. You're toast.
Yeah, and then I got to thank Casey and Denise Risley. You know, they've been there. Casey's been there the whole time working on the car, getting the thing ready to go every week, and it's been a lot of fun. You know, me and him's become really good, close friends, and I appreciate his friendship. Denise is stuck with me because we're blood, so I mean, she's just gonna have to deal with it. You know, and my other cousin Jennifer and her boyfriend Mario, they sit up on the hill every week and cheer, and their kids, and then of course Midwest Heating and Cooling that I work for. They've helped me out a ton. My boss is very supportive. I mean, he got to a point where we won. I think we won 2 or 3 in a row, and he found out we're in the points lead, and he goes, "I don't care what you got to do. Friday night, get out of here so we can get to the racetrack." So,
That's awesome.
so
Man, that's good.
they're old motocross racers, so
okay.
they understand, they get it. And then 3D Displays, Dave Deal, he's helped me out for a long time, and I appreciate all his help, and just anybody. And one person, 2 people actually that I really need to thank is a friend of mine, Buddy Blaine. He helped me out quite a bit back in the day, and the guy that really took time with me when I first started racing in 03 is Tom Charles.
Well,
and I can always give him the credit because for a good all of 2003 I ran CMS, and then 04 I kind of bounced back around and stuff like that, but he was always one of the guys that would come to the window, and you know, when I was mad at myself, he'd always try and get you. That's a good thing about Tom. And Tom would always get you back to square one, kind of give you some confidence, but he would still be able to tell you what you did wrong and why you did it wrong, and always there to help with chassis stuff, because I had no idea what I was doing. And I still don't know if I still do, but he tried. I mean, he really tried, but no, you know, he was always been a guy that I give him all the credit in the world, because he didn't have to do what he did, and he did.
Right.
So I appreciate it.
Good guy.
Yep.
Good guy. We had Tom as a co-host here a while back. I don't know if you guys got to see that, but it was fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, Gary, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you coming down for one thing. You know, we haven't been doing that for, what, a month and a half? I think we've done all the interviews by call, and to me, as I tell people, I like to look them in the eyes.
I ain't very pretty, so I don't know if you're going to say that anymore.
As my wife used to say, look them in the eyes, you can see it in their souls. You can see it in their souls. You know what they mean. So, but anyway, thanks for coming down, Gary.
problem.
It's been
Thanks
a
for
real
having me.
pleasure, man.
Yep,
It really
thank
has.
you.
And I think you give us some insight into, like I say, pure stock racing, kind of why it's appealing to probably some of the other racers that have raced other classes. And you were talking about how tough it was to travel. Well, you know, it's something you can do close to home every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, I think is another big part.
And
of
just
it.
a great class, great group of guys.
Yeah.
And the racing's really fun and close.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
a lot of fun.
But anyway, we're going to let you sneak out of here,
Okay.
and we're going to bring in the first of, where are they now, guys? John, you can come this way, or
Okay.
if he's getting out over there, or you can.
By the way, one of our viewers commented that it looked like Amish paradise up there.
Amish paradise.
Whoa. My middle name is Jedediah.
Oh, shoot. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll see you in Grayson here.
All right.
Thank you, Gary.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing good.
Good. Yeah.
Enjoying retirement.
When did you retire?
About a year ago.
Did you really? Wow. What did you do by trade?
I worked for Kevin.
Yeah, Anderson. Yeah, I had heard that. I'm going to have to tell you how I came by you. I called Denny Crooks
Oh yeah.
and
Little Denny.
tried to get Denny to come on. You know, Denny and I have known each other for
Right.
several years, raced RC together for I don't know how long.
Yep.
And I wanted Denny to come on.
Yep.
But I just kind of thought Denny wouldn't do it because even in RC racing, he never wanted a lot of limelight or whatever on himself. And he says, I don't think so. I'm not a guy for in front of the camera. I'd rather stand in the back.
We could have got him talking.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah,
could have got him
yeah.
going. He'd have never
Yep.
stopped.
Yep.
But anyway, I said, well, Denny, tell me about some of these guys you used to race with at Riverside. So give me some names. And I think yours was the first one that came up. He said, John Renfro. He said, John helped me out. He said, I'd having problems, had a motor. He rebuilt a motor for him or something.
He was having motor problems, and I said, I'll build you a motor that'll last.
Yeah, yeah.
Might not be fast, but it'll last.
It'll last. And I'm trying to remember who there was 2 or 3 others that he mentioned, and for the life of me, I can't remember now. I've got it written down in there. But anyway, John, that's how you got into my tunnel vision
Okay.
as far as doing this show. But then the more I got to thinking about it, I thought, well, you know, he helps out Kevin quite a bit. But,
Yep.
you know, that's a good deal for modern times. But I think what we really want to know, John, is back in the day, man, when you were full of pea and vinegar and thought racing was a good idea, who talked you into such a thing?
I had a neighbor when I lived with when I was a kid, named Jim Longpine. And back then, a late model was a '57 Chevy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he had a '54 Ford that he raced a hobo class at Lakeside, the old Lakeside.
Really?
Yeah. And so then he moved up to a late model, so he got him a '58 Ford. And so I bought my dad bought the '54, and we fixed it up a little bit, and
Now, that was the old flathead, wasn't it, 54? Or was that the overhead valve?
You were supposed to run a 292 V8,
Okay.
but we ran a 312 because it looked just like it.
Who knows the difference? They don't do that.
So we hired Eddie Atkins to drive it.
Ah, yes, Eddie
Eddie
Atkins.
Atkins.
Sure enough.
And went to Lakeside the first night, and Eddie was running pretty good, and the U-Haul car, the old big Buick, it was a U-Haul, orange car, U-Haul. And they got hooked up, and Eddie rolled like 5 times, barrel rolled it,
really?
2 times end for end, and
Oh, my gosh.
the car was just bent bad.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, it's a figure 8 car now.
Yeah.
So that's basically how we kind of got into it, you
Yeah.
know. I wasn't driving, I was just a kid. And then that went on to, we built a 33 Plymouth Coupe figure 8 car.
33 Plymouth Coupe.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Eddie drove it, and that's back when Jesse Walton had just bought Jerry Beach's big Chevrolet that he built.
I see.
And I think Jesse's number was W6 or something like that.
Huh.
And I think one year between Eddie and Jesse, they won every figure 8 racer was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Boy, those were fun to watch. And I swear, sure you remember, Bear, but that, especially that crossover there in the middle sometimes was so muddy.
Oh, yeah.
And there would be, it seemed like there was grooves,
Oh,
tire
yeah.
tracks that deep.
Right.
And you thought, how did they even get through there,
Yeah,
man? You'd have to hit it at 50 miles an hour. to
They
get
would
through it.
hit, and they just kind of glaze off, because you wasn't going very fast.
yeah.
They just kind of glaze off each other, you know. I remember Eddie telling me one time he got hit in the intersection, and he just stopped there, and he wasn't going nowhere. I said, God dang, Eddie, it's a bad place to stop. I said, why'd you stop? He goes, John, they hit me so hard they knocked my shoes off. I had to put my shoes back on.
Couldn't drive with his socks
So,
on.
of course, Eddie, he was my hero, you know.
Yeah,
Eddie was. Yeah, we went fishing together and everything.
Yeah.
We had some good times, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember when Eddie died. What was that? 70s, 80s,
I don't
somewhere in
remember.
there,
Don't remember.
if I remember right. But
Don't remember. So then, you know, from there, you know, teenager, going to school, got interested in girls. And
oh yeah, that's
So,
that's
you know,
the
just kinda
downfall
went-
of a lot of racers, isn't
kind
it?
of and I don't know, I think I ran into Gene Claxton one time. He's like, John, how come you don't race again? You know, I don't know. He goes, you ought to. So I had a friend, and was my drinking buddy, and he had a 67 SS Chevelle 396 4-speed.
Oh man,
And he's always talking. And I said, yeah, we used to race and everything. That'd make a good race car, you know.
Uh-huh.
Well, he got pretty plastered one night. He just threw me the keys. He said, make a race car out of it.
Oh really?
So I left. I took the keys and left, went straight to my dad's house.
Yeah.
By the time he sobered up the next day, we had the windows out. It was gutted. There was no turning back. So that's how I got started in the street stocks back in.
That was the street stocks.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What was your first race experience like? Was it fun, or was it not so fun?
Oh, no, it was fun.
How'd you do?
I was at Riverside, and I thought, okay, all I got to do is hold it wide open all the way around the track. That's all I got to do. I went in turn one and went straight, slid up, hit somebody, and figured out, that's not going
Couldn't
to
do
work.
that.
That's not going to work. I've always had fun racing.
Yeah.
Never had a bad time.
Yeah.
Never.
About how long did you race, John?
About 20 years.
Did you really?
Drove about 20 years. I quit when my daughter got in high school and started sports.
Okay.
She started sports, and we traveled all over the country and stuff. And, you know, I'm glad I did quit racing because I met a lot of good people, and I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after that, I just never got back into it. You know, you you didn't have the parts, and so then it was like I'm sitting around with Kevin and his little brother Jason, and we want to go racing. I said, you do, huh? I said, do you realize what it's going to take? I said, we want to do it. So that's how we kind of got them going.
Got them started.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was as you say, the 417 and the 714.
Yes,
Was
the
the
714 will be out again this year.
Yeah. Well, now I heard a rumor something about brother was going to get back
Yeah,
into
Jason's going. He's going to drive.
In fact, I think it was Denny told me.
Yeah.
Does Denny get all this information from
Oh
you?
yeah, I talk to Denny a lot.
Do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he seems to know all the time. Plus, he's all the time talking to me about interviewing Kevin or anytime Anderson's on there, why he's carry a nod. But and you can see, I was really wanting to get some pictures of your race cars. I guess I should, when I talked to you, I should have seen if you had.
Yeah,
any.
they're on Kevin's.
Well, I tried to get some
Did you?
from Kevin, but I didn't see any. There might have been one or two, but I don't know if it was you or Kevin's brother in the 417. But got a lot of family shots and stuff.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
That's why Jason's getting back in it.
Is it?
He said, I miss being around the family all the time.
Right.
Now Jason raced there for a while, about probably 10 years ago. He raced quite a bit, really. But they started that business, and Jason's like, I need to concentrate on this business and get it going.
Right.
He's got her going pretty good now,
Yeah.
and he wants to have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just to go back just a little bit, do you have any idea of wins? Points championships or anything like that?
Wins?
You were racing.
I don't know how many wins. I was just looking through some old pictures and stuff, and I couldn't even remember the first time I won, but I guess it was 1977 at the old Shawnee track.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think that was my first win.
Down in the holler?
Yeah.
That's what I called it.
Yep.
And points champions, I was point champion down at Lynn County.
Were you really?
Yeah, Lynn County. I don't know what the class, super stocks, what they call them down there.
Okay.
Kind of like the stock cars now.
Yeah,
I have
Mary?
a question for you first, before we go any further. Where did you go to high school?
Northtown.
72?
Graduated in 73. You graduated in 72? Okay.
Last name Devling.
It was high
That's
school.
okay,
It was
yeah.
high school. Come
That
on.
was just last year.
I know, but
Well, anyway, we have
We have
a
a
caller.
phone. We have a caller. Did
Yes,
you put him
we-
on speakerphone?
I did put him on
All right.
speakerphone, so.
Yes, sir, caller. You want to identify yourself?
Well, yeah, this is Kevin Anderson. I called to give John a little razz, a little bit.
Yeah, you guys have kind of gotten to know each other a little bit.
Hey, I want John to tell the story about the spit steering wheel.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on. I think this one's
I
louder.
think that one's louder too, yes.
You there, Kevin?
I'm here, yes.
Try that.
Are you there?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
louder. Now we can hear you.
Okay,
you
you
hear
want
me,
me to
baby?
tell the
I want
story
John-
of,
What?
we was at Sedalia, and it was, I'd run there before, and it was the first night for the new season, and got in the car and lined up, and I'm sitting there in the lineup, and I got my hands on the steering wheel, and the steering wheel is bent like this. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, somebody sabotaged my car. And got my hands on, I'm looking at my arms to see if they're bent different.
Different
And
ways.
I've got a hole, and I'm trying to bend it back straight, and I'm like, man, I can't race. Something's going to break. I'm going to get hurt on this big track. I pull out a line. I pull back to the pits. They all come running. Had a big crew. They come running. What's wrong? I said, the steering shaft's bent. And they got the hood off, and they're looking, and I said, we can't find nothing. I said, are y'all blind? I said, it's bent. Can't you see it? And I said, we don't see nothing wrong with it. And I said, well, I'll just have to fix it myself. So I went to take my glasses off, 'cause I can take your glasses off before you take your helmet off.
Yeah.
I go take my glasses off, and my finger goes through and hits my eyeball. One of my lens had fallen out, and everything looked bent. I lost my crew that night. They left.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tells a good story there, but he did. I mean, he was screaming and yelling and freaking out about the steering wheel, so it was a great memory for sure.
Thanks for that, Kevin.
Great story. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. John, what tracks did you race at? Did you have a favorite? And, of course, we all like the ones
The
that
favorite?
we win at, but
It's Sedalia.
really?
I got
half
to-
mile.
No, I got to race on the mile 2 years.
Oh, wow, really?
In what they call the super stock.
Wow.
Was
And,
that was that the big fair race they had every year?
No, I wasn't during the fair. That was at the end of the season.
Okay. It wasn't the one, though, like I say, with Ernie Durr and...
Well, probably
that
back
bunch.
in the day it was, but when I did it, those guys
Yeah.
were long gone. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was just the speed
Yeah.
to go go way over 100 mile an hour and go in the corner and throw it sideways. It was just fun.
Wow.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Seemed like that might have been when Bob Baker was promoted.
Yes, it was. That's when Baker had it.
he
Yeah.
had some mile
And when
races.
you come down the front straightaway, and then you come on to where the turn 4 was on the half mile,
Uh-huh.
and you're booking pretty good.
No
The
kidding.
car would unload just a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and you just get a little
Right.
screwed, and it just felt so good.
Kind of float on.
Yeah.
I think I can remember that now that you bring that up. I can remember seeing that. But, well, Kevin, what's the best thing that old John brings to the Anderson racing team?
But, you know, John's the crew chief, you know, so, you know, we rely on him a lot to maybe run the gray area a little bit, maybe. So, you know, John was always one of those guys that always liked to push the envelope a little bit. So we appreciate everything he does for us, for sure. It's fun to have him there, and we really enjoy it. I learned a lot too. I learned a lot from him too. You know, up in Savannah, he always would miss turn 2, so he was always down in the trees, you know, going around turn 2. So I did learn from him to be careful going around that turn 2 corner.
Yeah, don't run the line he was running.
That's right. Don't run that line.
Oh, shoot. Was there any specific people in those, let's say, the early days of when you started that were in that crew, or was it just a bunch of the good old boys getting together and kind of hanging out?
I had one guy. He was a neighbor 2 houses down, Gene Flathers, and he just passed away this last year.
Oh, really? That's a shame.
And he's been with me from the beginning. When we had that 32 coupe, well, we would go to old Shawnee to run with the jalopies. They called them jalopies out there. Right? And our tow vehicle was a 47 Chevrolet pickup.
6-cylinder.
No, we had a V8 in it. It had a V8 in it, and the windshield cranked out on it.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So me and Gene's going, and it had a power glide in, and the shifter came up and bent, and the shifter come between my legs here. Well, the old truckie hit a chug hole, and the steering wheel start this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Gene's over here sound asleep, got his feet hanging out the window on the hood, and I'm looking down the road, and I hit a bump, and that steering wheel starts this, and that shifter goes like this, and throws that ball off, hits the glove box, and cracks Gene in the head. Well, Gene just wakes up, starts waylaying on me, and I'm trying to get the truck under control. He never did believe me that it was a shifter ball. Wow. That's some good times, though. Yeah. Some fun times. Yep.
Don't you wish you'd have been there, Kevin? I mean, doesn't this sound like a ride?
Yeah. That story is a classic one for sure. I enjoy that story every time I hear it. That's a good one. We used to giggle and laugh about that a lot.
I am sure, though, that you guys have got some stuff just like that. I mean, it's living in the fast lane and racing. Yep. Is it not?
You know, that's what. Oh, it definitely is. And you know, the funny part is that a lot of them we can't even tell on the air here. So it's, they get pretty rude and crude sometimes, for sure.
Oh.
A bunch of good old boys in the pickup trucks as we're going to the races and stuff. It's good times.
Yeah. Well, you know what we're talking about here is pretty much what I put up on there today. This was in the good old days.
Yes.
When racing was...
You had to make everything.
Right? Yes, exactly.
I remember being young, they didn't even have wide wheels. So we would take 2 wheels, cut 1/3 of it off,
Right.
and then weld it to make a wide wheel.
I see.
You had to make your own wheels.
Make your own wheels, yeah.
Yeah,
You had to make your own quick steer out of the timing chains.
Yeah, I remember seeing those. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you had to make everything.
Yeah.
Right.
It's something we will never see again, but so many people lived through it and experienced it. Right. And I hate to say this, John, but the people to be able to sit and talk about it are getting fewer and farther
Yes,
between.
they are.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time. And that's what I'm enjoying myself. I hope the audience is too. So much about these programs is, getting to hear about stuff like this and what it was like. Because as a fan, man, it was fantastic to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, just really a lot of fun. But do you have a fond memory either when you raced or after that, just being around racing?
A fond memory.
Yeah, something that just sticks out in your mind about, gee, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. It was a terrific win. Anything like that?
Probably running on that big old mile.
Yeah, that was fun. I didn't win it, but and I never did win at Sedalia. But I like the bigger tracks,
Right.
because they're easier. To me, they're easier.
Easier to set the car on, easier to drive.
No, they're just, you can relax.
Yeah.
The short track, you are busy all the time. Big track, you can kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah.
But And then them old cars, they didn't have power steering. You know, they didn't have no brake bias on them or nothing.
Right.
So I got the biggest steering wheel I could get. You know, because you got, and you had to have the car handling good, because you just went in, you did, well, mine, I went down the straightaway, hold it this way, to get the corner, I'd straighten it out, and it'd go around the corner. And if I had to do one of these or this, you couldn't turn it.
Right.
So you had to have a car that handled really good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't you feel spoiled a little bit, Kevin?
I think I get told that a lot. Yeah, just a sweet steering box. Man, it would have been nice to have that in the good old days.
It sure would.
Well, anyway, Kevin, thanks for calling in, buddy. I knew you'd be able to jog his memory a little bit about a few things, and thanks for calling in, Kevin. We really appreciate it, buddy.
Nope.
See you later.
No problem. Enjoy it.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Do we dare ask how? We already asked about how many wins you had.
I did win a points championship in Lynn County. Well, I told you that, didn't I?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on in, folks.
I kind of miss that old track.
That was a fun track.
Fun track, yeah.
I went down there because there's less walls.
Yeah.
I always went to tracks that had less walls.
Right. Yeah.
I have to ask John, would you do it all over again in the same way, or would there be something different?
Yeah, I'd do it again. I would probably spend more time on carburetors. Yeah, that's a tricky deal right there. I would just buy a carburetor and stick it on the motor and go, you know.
Yeah.
You can't do that now.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I would. Yeah, I loved it. I'd do it again.
Like I say, just,
Well, I'm doing it. I'm helping Kevin. You know,
yeah.
And
You guys got
it's
two
a lot
of
of fun.
them this year.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that.
Yeah.
You know, me and Kevin's dad, we're not spring chickens, and
I watch them two guys, him and
And,
Dave, and they have a lot of fun out
Oh,
there.
I bet
that's the only reason we go. We go because we don't go to the track unless we think we're going to win.
Right.
But we go to have fun
Yeah.
Have
with
fun.
the family. That's what it's all about.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I might have missed it. I don't know if I did or not. Let's see where we're at in the pictures here. But there was one picture of you, and it was in the winner's circle. Let's see if it's coming up here. We only got 5 minutes anyway.
You're the truck driver too, right?
Oh,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You tow the car.
I told you, yeah.
I wish I'd have kept Kevin on. Look at this. He I don't know how old he was when he
That's
got
when
married.
he got married.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, but he couldn't have been 18, 19,
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
maybe 20 tops. I
There you
seen
go.
that and I thought, I got to put that up there. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't go by that one. That's too good. Yeah, that's not it. But there's one of these winter circle pictures. You're standing right over in here, and you're blowing in his ear.
I'm blowing in Terry Watlin's
Watlin's ear.
I'm blowing Terry Watlin's ear. He's a good friend too.
That may be one of the guys we have to have on Bear for Where Are They Now? Because Terry's not flagging anymore, is he?
Right.
No, he's not flagging.
Yep. John and Terry come down to the shop here a while back and
Yeah.
seen us. So
Yeah.
Did he really?
just
Yeah.
come down and visit for a while. So.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. Let's see here. Did you have a racing hero when you were growing up? Was there somebody that you really looked at locally or nationally?
Well, local guy was Eddie Atkins.
Eddie Atkins. And that's well deserved. Eddie was a heck of a driver.
Yeah.
It was.
And as far as NASCAR, it's Richard Petty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Mopar guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was Richard Petty.
Yeah. Now, did you run Mopar race engines?
No,
You did not.
no. Tow vehicles.
Yeah.
No, they're too expensive to race.
Okay. All right. All right.
I just always wondered, was there a meaning behind the 714?
Yeah. What is it?
Yeah.
Was there?
I'll give you the clean version here. Babe Ruth's home runs.
Kevin warned us.
Babe Ruth's home runs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, everybody, you run single number, double number, you'd have to put a letter behind it. And
Right.
I'm going to go with 3 numbers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. I was thinking more along the lines of once a week, twice a week, for 7 days, 14 days.
There you go. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Eddie Atkins and Richard Petty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually got to do an interview with Richard Petty out at the Speedway when I was messing with Metro Sports.
Yeah.
I admired Richard because he never said nothing bad about anybody.
Yeah.
And he was always smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I admired that.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, tell us who this crew is right here. I think
Let's
it's Kevin's dad there. I recognize him.
Kevin's dad, that's me, and the guy with his hand up is our brother-in-law, mine and Dave's brother-in-law, and then the other guy is Dave Collins, who his daughter raced, Courtney. She ran the B-Mod up at I-35 for a few years.
Okay.
Well, she ran the front-wheel drive class.
Uh-huh.
She was like, I think 12 years old or something.
Wow.
And she was throwing it in there like it was a rear-wheel drive. We need to get her out of that front-wheel drive into a real race car.
Yeah. She
Who-
had the feel for it.
Who
Yeah.
is the best local racer you ever saw? Tough question, isn't it?
It's
We've
a
had a
tough,
bunch.
it's
We've
a
had a bunch of
tough
good ones.
question.
We've had a bunch of good.
Back in the day, it was Gene Claxton.
Boy, that's
He'd get on that high side at Riverside and just tiptoe around the top and just
Yeah.
make it look so easy.
Yeah, he did.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. You go with that, Bear?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. How many times have we seen him start in the back and go right to the front?
Well, he had to start in the
Yeah,
back.
he
you
didn't-
know,
they made
he
him.
wasn't going to race if he didn't start in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As these last pictures play out here, John, we've kind of run out of time, but is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to? Friends, family, fans, whatever, that over the years
yeah, my wife.
have been true to the cause?
My wife is that when I married her, I told her that, you sure? I said, I'll spend every dime I got on a race car. She said, no problem. She liked racing.
No problem.
No problem. She loved to race.
I got plenty of beans.
Yeah. No, out to her, and she's going through a rough spell now. She's fighting cancer and has been since 2018.
Yeah.
And she's a very strong woman.
Yeah.
I mean, what she's been through, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. What
Yeah.
she's been through. So
Here's what I want to do, okay, Bear? I want to have a heart attack in the pits at Lakeside. And I want to lay there, and the last sound I hear is a Chevy motor. Revved up. In fact, even a piece of mud hit me in the face when I took that last breath.
Yeah.
Does this sound like a movie?
Yeah. Sounds like a movie. Yeah.
But we don't get to pick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we don't get to pick. But anyway, John, it's been fun, man.
Thank you.
It's been fun reminiscing. I think you kind of give us an idea of what the old-time racing was like, and I think for everybody now the question has been answered. Where was he now? Or where is he now?
Yeah. Where's he now?
He's
Not
still
driving.
going to a racetrack.
if I'd still like to drive though.
Yeah.
I'd still like to try it again.
Well, I'll tell you what I'd like to see, Bear, and whether it's, and I think pure stocks would be a good class, is why couldn't we bring guys back from the old times? I mean, I know that's risky business because of wrecking the cars, but, maybe put a limiter on there.
Yeah.
No, I don't want no limit. I know how to take them off.
where they could only go 40 or 50 miles an hour and say you can't get within 8 feet of each
Yeah.
other.
Exactly.
Well,
That'd
kind
be
of
like NASCAR racing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
kind of like the old timers racers. You ever see those guys? Man, they're
yeah.
6 feet apart,
Yep. Yep.
but it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's
it is.
and the fans, I think, would just absolutely love it. But something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
something to think about.
Well, we got these guys here.
We
could
take
get
a boat.
If we could find some pure stocks for you guys.
That'd be great. I'd love it.
Get back into it.
Anyway, John, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time, accepting the deal to come on and do this.
No problem. I enjoyed it.
It has been a real fun, thrilling thing to do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
All righty.
And I have to
You want
wait
me to-
50 years to run into him again.
There you go. Probably passed him at the prom.
Who knows?
Come on up, Ron. Whatever way you want to go in here or over there, either one.
All right. Good to see you, Ron.
Either way.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Been a while.
It has been a while.
Y'all have a good night.
Hi, John.
Thank you, John.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
Yep. Yep.
Where am I at? Right here.
You are in the middle, man. You're in the hot seat.
Oh boy. I'm used to being there.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we made the connection, and we're able to do this because I actually talked to your son this afternoon, and
What I understand.
Man,
we
I
had
haven't seen you in a lot of years.
It's been a
few
while.
Years. Yeah, been a few years.
It's been a while. Been too many.
Yeah, too many.
Been too
yeah.
many.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we're hoping to do here on Cheeseworks is get some of these guys that have been out of the limelight who were some of our favorite characters and whatever that raced,
Yep.
and get to see their face again, and it's fantastic to get to see. I don't think you had any of this facial hair back in the day. I don't know when this was taken, but
That was actually in Hawaii.
is it? Okay.
Yeah, on our 40th anniversary.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which island?
That was on Maui.
Maui? Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Maui.
Maui and Oahu.
Yeah,
were
that's
the
where
two we were on.
Yeah, we were on two of them over there ourselves. Really did like it. Deer, no reflection. It was just a shadow on your face there. I didn't do that. Yeah, I didn't do that. It's just the way it came out. But talking about the good old days of racing. Like I told your boy this afternoon, Ron, you were one of the guys that I really wanted to have on this show because I just so enjoyed watching you race back in the day because
So did I.
I just knew that if I just kept an eye on you, I was going to be seeing plenty of action, and you were going to be up there in the pack before long, or running for the lead. And this is the only picture of a car in Bear. I found it on your.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I found it on your Facebook page, I
Right.
believe. In fact, all of these racers that I've got coming up here in this era. But you actually started. It was a street stock, right?
Actually,
Well, yeah.
Street stock is what I stayed in. The old sprint cars, I think they called them sportsmen.
Sportsman.
Virgil Chapman, Charlie Kraft, back in the day. I actually bought Everett Reed's old 72 car toward the end of the season and raced it, a few times. And the first race I was ever in toward the end of the season, there was a whole bunch of red flags. And, of course, my mom was there and my wife was there. And, they didn't want me to race anymore after that. But I stayed out of all the accidents, and after the race was over, the memory that stuck with me the most is when the race was over, Virgil Chapman, track champion, got out of his car, and he come to me, and before I could even get out of my car, and he said, "Young man," he said, "I know this is your first race, and pardon my French, but he said, you're going to be a hell of a shoe." And that's stuck with me, what Virgil Chapman said. And,
That's that's a big one there.
Right.
so the next year, my cousin and I was going to split the ride, and on the first lap,
Now, what was his name?
Stan Vaughn.
No.
No, well,
Ring any bells, Bear?
No, it wouldn't, because first race he drove, turn 3 and 4, he flipped the car, and had to have Pappy Weld straighten the front end. And I drove the next week, and the next week my cousin drove, and he flipped it at the flagman, and Pappy Weld had to straighten it up again. And so we decided that was kind of expensive. And when the street stocks came to town, Mark Nigro and Kent Lafette, good friends of mine, came to me and said, "How would you like to drive for fun and profit?" Your fun and our profit. And I thought, I don't care what it takes, any way to get on a racetrack. And
You want to do it?
we were actually the first Chevrolet that year. There were just a few races left. We were the first Chevrolet to win an A feature in the street stock.
Oh, really?
And then after we won ours, nothing but Chevrolet won the rest of the year.
The rest of the year. Yeah,
So-
that doesn't Bear, do you remember? I should have wrote these names down.
That was his name was John Lee. That we
Yes, John.
raced with.
Hopefully you can remember
He
these.
worked at Olathe Ford.
Yeah, as these come up, if you
Right.
would fill us in on who those are. But, man, I mean, really, look at these in comparison to what we got today.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
even an E-Mod.
Yeah, exactly.
Even an E-Mod. I mean, there is no comparison.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I had to, first year those came to town, I had to have one of those to
Yeah,
get out of
yeah.
street stock.
Yeah.
I love the open wheel.
Yeah. Who's this, Bear?
That would be Larry Bittner's car. I believe, I think Jerry Powell was driving it there.
Powell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
David
that-
Powell's dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jerry,
Yeah.
The guy on it, his name is Larry Bittner.
Yeah.
He's from Kansas, Kansas.
When I seen these and just seen the background and everything, I thought, Riverside.
Yeah.
Riverside, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was the same way when Dad said, let's build one of them, when they come to town, I'm like,
Well, I think Buzz had the first one, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah, Buzz Caster had the first one,
The
and
first one, yeah.
and
Yeah.
Now, did everybody use it for a model? Or, I mean,
no,
or
he-
could you send off and get, or did
There
IMCA?
was a few guys in the area that built cars, and I
Yeah.
don't know who built your first car.
just passed away.
Leonard Hunt?
Leonard Hunt.
Yeah, he built my first one.
He
yeah.
built
Did he
my
really?
first
Right.
one, and he built mine, and then Frank Hedge and Mike Fitzpatrick, and the three of us kind of run together
Yeah.
and shared
Yeah.
parts and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, Leonard unfortunately recently passed away.
Yeah.
So
I think I got a picture of Frank coming up here, too,
yeah.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
How did you get this need to race?
Born with it. Hey, when I was a little kid, anything with wheels and a motor, I didn't care what it was, lawnmower, anything, and my folks wouldn't let me have a go-kart, so when I got on my own and
Yeah.
got married, I had a go-kart.
Yeah.
Only it was for the dirt.
Yeah.
Of course, here was the guy to beat right there.
Oh,
Was
Bobby
it-
Lane.
Was this guy right here.
Well, if you ran second, you won.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because he was usually first. I got
Yeah.
him a few times, but
Yeah.
not too many.
Now, Bear, correct me, isn't this after the sprint car days?
Yes. Yeah, this was in 1984 here.
Yeah.
1984.
And I don't think he runs sprint cars up to
And I think that was a sprint car with a modified body.
Yeah.
It sure raced like
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
That's so
He
funny.
said it like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of a repetitive question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But as you look back, would you get back into racing and do it all over again, just like you did it before,
No,
or different?
I'd do it different. I'd go in debt further. Probably be single. No, I would do it different. I would go at it harder and try to go at it bigger. And no, when the green flag dropped is when I was the most comfortable. Most comfortable I've ever been in my life. You were talking about being at Lakeside and everything. If I knew my time was 8 o'clock tomorrow night, put me in a race car, put me on the racetrack, and let me go as fast as I can. And adios.
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 I don't know how many times, Bear, I have heard that,
Yeah.
almost that identical statement here
And as
in the
far as
last.
what you said on the earlier guest there,
Yeah.
no, we're not going to put no limiters on them.
Yeah, exactly.
That ain't racing.
No.
I'm sorry. I know you're the host and all that, but I'm sorry.
Well, I just tried to protect the race cars and the guys that got money invested in them is all I was doing, but yet still get some old guys out there and let them have a little fun,
Yeah.
and go at it. Who's the old one, Bear? In the 7 there.
The 01 was Gary Jellison out of Topeka.
Yeah, okay.
And the 7 was, I think his name was Don Wade, and he was from this area.
I can
Don
say
Wade.
that name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Wade?
Yeah, Don Wade, yeah.
Absolutely does.
Yeah.
Man, these are some great pictures.
Don Wade is who I bought my last modified from. He didn't finish the car. Bunny Whistler, Bunny built it, and Don didn't finish it, and I bought it from him, and that was the last car I raced.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
So it was from Don.
As you said, these cars had just come to town, so you were one of the first guys to be in this modified class. What was it like coming from the street stock going into these cars that you knew absolutely nothing about? It had to be a challenge.
No. No, it actually felt natural. It just, no, it was awesome. I mean, you know, it drove more like a go-kart. It actually drove better, easier than a street stock, because, you know, street stock basically had everything. The stock, you know, most of the cars had power steering on them, which we had looped over, wasn't running power steering, and the modifieds too to begin with. Right. And but it took a lot more turning and everything, and I was one to always turn the wheel quite a bit, because I thought if you weren't going totally sideways as far as you could, you weren't racing. So
you weren't turning right.
You were, yeah, right. So yeah. So, but no, the modified just felt natural, and like I said, that went probably back to my first '72 car, which was open wheel, and we finished in the money, first time ever in a race car, and we usually finished in the money, and like I said, it's just natural. I still feel like today I could go out there and play with the boys, play with the kids. So, but you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I'm trying to think. Is there anybody racing right now? How old are you, Ron?
72. I made my number.
Yeah, that's your number.
That's my number,
You made your
72.
number.
Yep.
Is
Don Michael's there too, by the way.
Yep, no,
okay?
yep.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yep.
Plus, I got a question, but first, I forgot what I was going to say. But were these front stubs or were these full chassis?
Front stub.
So they were tubular
Most
chassis
of-
and a front stub.
Most of them were Ford Torino.
Right.
That's,
Oh, really?
That's the only thing Ford I ever run.
I'll be
Was
darned.
a chassis.
Huh?
The front stub.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Are there any drivers that you know of that old in pure stocks even? What's the oldest driver you know of? Tom, or not Tom Hanks, but what's his name?
Yeah.
Thompson?
Tom Charles quit.
No, I'm talking about pure stock.
Oh, pure stock?
Yeah.
Hank Thompson. That was
Yeah.
Hank.
Was
Hank
Hank,
stock car.
is he running
Yeah, he's
now?
running a stock car.
Is he?
Well, I kind of, when I quit cold turkey
Yeah.
on a Friday afternoon, decided to sell everything and took my stuff to Savannah and sold everything.
Wow.
And,
I'll just answer it, Mary. I got it.
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah. Hello.
go.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, Ronnie? Yeah, gonna put you on speakerphone. Hang on. We got a caller.
Night for surprise phone calls.
How about that? I love it. We got people calling in. Cool. All right. Identify yourself there, buddy.
This is, as a lot of people know, this is Ronnie Joe Parsley. This is my dad's son. This is Ron Parsley's son.
Hi, kiddo.
What do you think so far, man? Don't you love some of these pictures of these cars?
Oh, yes. You got Don Michael's car behind you. I like it.
But, you know, you and I talked this afternoon, and you were telling me that it was such a good childhood experience for you, being at Riverside with your dad and getting to do the stuff that you got to do over there. Tell us, just give us a for instance about what it was like.
Oh, I mean, oh my gosh. Going to Riverside?
Yeah.
Every Saturday night, it was amazing. It started with me and my, are you guys, can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so it started like we get in the back of the truck. I mean, things you can't do right now as a kid. What a lot of kids are missing out on. We got to get in the back of the bed of the truck and ride down to Riverside in the back of the bed of the truck, and knowing that my dad was going to race the car. And it was the coolest thing ever. And we got to go sit there and just like, we knew we were going dirt track racing, and it was going to be a good time. And it was like when we got there, we felt like kings, even though we weren't the kings because we weren't racing. But I know my dad was the one racing, but we felt like the kings because my dad was racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we were talking about, we used to take our kids down there scared to death up in them stands at Riverside, and both you and I think almost at the same time, yeah, we remember the chicken wire underneath.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It was almost like it's like you either catch a beer can or you catch a baby.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure something doesn't fall through those bleachers at Riverside.
That's a good one.
What do you have a favorite memory of watching your dad race? I mean, a win that he had, or just a spectacular run, or rollover, or anything?
I don't know if there was like one spectacular moment, to be honest with you. It was just every night knowing that my dad had a chance to win every race that he was in. That was the coolest thing ever, because I knew when I went to the track that my dad wasn't a field filler, and that was what was really cool, is to know that my dad had a chance to win a race every night that he went on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't it a black car?
Yes, it was a black car.
Which car?
The street stock.
First street
Oh, the
stock
street-
was dark red oxide primer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got the car. Like I said, Mark and Kent asked me if I wanted to race for fun and profit. They came up with a 66 Chevelle. I went to ITT Grinnell on Thursday afternoon, bought the tubing. Thursday afternoon, we were racing Saturday night.
Wow.
We didn't have time to paint the car, so Mark Nigro's father-in-law primed it for us, said we could paint it later. Well, once it's got a dent or two in it, they don't need painting it. So
Can't improve it.
yeah, so that was our color the first year. And the second year, it was dark red oxide primer with clear on it. And that made it shine. And then we went to pretty much to the black cars and the black and white, the burgundy and white. So, but the street stocks they were all after the primer, they were all burgundy and white. That was the colors of them.
They was always pretty cars. I remember that. Even your modifieds.
Those were all black. So
One thing I remember, correct me if maybe my memory's slipping me here, but I would swear when you were running that street stock that you ran a smaller tire on the right rear than you did on the left. Now, is that a true statement?
Nope.
Is it not?
Both of them were 5 3/4 inches wide.
Okay.
Everybody was griping because we couldn't run a big enough tire. In a driver's meeting, Larry Castor stood up there and said, "Until you guys can outrun Ron Parsley, quit your bitching." And my tires were Kent Lafette. We stole them from his dad. He had a Buick Skylark or something with the studs in them, snow tires. We stole them and we pulled all the studs out. And we put them on my race car, and I ran those for like 2 or 3 years. 5 3/4 inches wide.
Wow.
So, and was successful.
Yeah.
They were 14 inches. They weren't even 15. They were 14, which gave me more gear.
Well, maybe that's what it was, is it was 14-inch wheels, because I swear I'd look at that and your tire was way smaller than everybody else's. Maybe that's what it was. You were running 14-inch wheels.
And I loved that. Especially when Larry Castor came up there. He took a tape measure and measured my tire when everybody else was complaining they wanted, I think our legal limit was 7, and everybody wanted an 8, or it was 8, and everybody wanted a 9. But, it was fun. Like I said, we built a race car from Thursday to Saturday night, built a winner. We were the first Chevy to win. We won back-to-back. We took the wins away from Mad Dog, Jim Hall, because he was the big galaxy that had been winning, and when we came, the second night out, we had taken, we won the second night out. There was an accident on the back straightaway, which I stopped. We didn't win opening night. But then the next week, if you won or ran second, you had to start in the back. Halfway through the race, I passed Jim, and he tagged me in the left rear and spun me, and I passed him at the checkered flag. So.
Here's your buddy Frank, I think.
Yep,
that's Frank Edge.
That's Frank. Frankie, a lot of people called him. Yep.
There again.
He was my best friend down here in Kansas City. We did a lot of things together.
Yeah, that reminds me, you were from Cameron originally.
Originally from Cameron.
I got that from Ronnie.
Yep. Graduated high school there.
Yeah.
So.
Ronnie, did any of your neighborhood kids kind of look up to you? Hey, your dad's a race car driver. Does he go fast on the street?
Oh, yeah, definitely. One of my best friends that I grew up with all the time, Forrest, he always went to the racetrack with us every weekend. We had another friend, Eric Gibson, that he was there with us as well. He would sit at a different part of the stands at Riverside, but he would sit there, and him and his parents loved watching my dad race. Yeah. And so it was a really, really good time. A lot of my friends it was a proud moment for a kid, because it's like, hey, what's your dad do? My dad races cars.
Absolutely. Okay, Ronnie, we're going to let you go, buddy. We may have another caller here. We'll wait and see. But also one of the guys that used to go with you all the time is a guy that we see on Facebook a lot, and I believe raced a little himself, Kerry Ayers.
Yes. All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, Ronnie. Thanks for calling, buddy. You take care.
Yep. All right. Bye.
Bye. I think your dad or your son's proud of you, Ronnie.
I hope so. I know I'm proud of him. His mom and I are. Yeah, I'm very proud of him.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. What's life all about if it's not kids and grandchildren?
Exactly. And I got 2 fantastic grandkids.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's good.
And granddaughter.
Yeah.
So.
Those early street stocks were almost like pure stocks in that you couldn't really do a lot to them. I mean, they were pretty basic frame setups and whatever, but there were some of those had some pretty stout motors in them. I mean, what do you guys run now? Is 350s?
Yeah, 350s. We got a 360 rule.
Do you? Yeah.
I had
what about back then, Ron?
327s. Most of the guys were going to 350s, and I ran 327s. I preferred the 327. Ended up, they were a little harder to get, and I even run the small journal 327 because,
really,
it's easier to get than the big journal. And but we did switch to the 350s, and then with the modifieds, the 383. And thanks to Bobby Lane, I got my first 383. Thanks, Bobby.
Now, just let's stop a minute. I don't know I know that's Tom Charles in the 181. Do you know who that is in the 7, Darren?
I think it's a Bethany when it was half mile.
That's Bethany. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think it's Stillman Young in their 7. And the car, it's a Camaro back there. It's one of the Montgomerys.
Oh, is it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you know all this stuff, man?
Well, just
because you've got a ton of pictures.
Yeah.
He's been around.
And
thanks to Bill Bruton and Skip Richardson,
yeah.
I've bought pictures from them every week.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're pretty neat anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Bill was a heck of a photographer.
He was. Yeah.
Was there a limit on these motors back then, though? I mean, could you, or did it exist then? Was there like the 396 or anything like that?
Whatever you was willing to let go of for $325.
Oh, that's right. You had a claim.
Yeah, we had a claim. So, people like me, we didn't have, even buying that pipe, we had less than $300 in our car when we went to the racetrack.
Wow.
Less than 300. That was our budget, was 300, and Kent was in charge of the money, LaFayette, and we didn't spend 300. So we paid our pit passes and everything out of that 300 on the first, and then after that, the race car pretty much. Back then, you could pay your way.
What did feature pay?
Feature paid $100 in the street stock back then, I think.
Yeah.
And then it went to $125, but $100, and then every once in a while they would have like a mid-season championship.
Yeah.
That paid $500.
Wow.
I've won
big money.
I won several of those. The Mike Hill Memorial paid $500 to win that. The big money races, and my wife was down in her back for a while and off work, and my race car was actually. The race car was making my house payment.
Supporting the family.
Supporting the family.
Holy smokes. I don't think there's too many can say that.
Well,
especially
like I said,
nowadays.
I finally quit because I kept telling her that it don't really cost anything, but I was refinancing my house about every 2 or 3 years. And she said, why? And I said, I don't know.
I think that first year, Ron, when we run modifieds, if I remember right, we were in for $150.
Yep.
And it paid 10 spots.
Yep.
I think 10th place was $10, and we got first, second, and third in the heat race paid 15, 10, and 5.
Oh, really?
If you finished 11th on back, hey, hope you had a good time.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 spots.
Yeah. I want to step back on this other
But
picture.
it paid heat races. I remember that.
It did. It paid the heat races and the feature. So
Yeah.
Who's this, Bear?
That's That's Bill Miller out of Joplin.
That's an old
that
Camaro,
picture's at
ain't
Adrian.
Yeah,
that's at
didn't know him.
Adrian. Yeah. Yeah, he ran modifieds too back in, I think, late
Now, who's
80s.
this? Man, this is a nice-looking car
Yeah,
here.
I think that's
That's a Ford.
yeah, it's one of the Bittners from down that area. I think Mike Bittner maybe.
Oh, really?
And that's an Adrian pick too. I got
Yeah.
it from all over the place. So,
Well, I mean,
yeah, I
I'm
think
sure
his
glad you
name was-
did, 'cause
I think his name was Mike Bittner. Yeah.
now this is Kate's again here,
that's
isn't it?
the new Lakeside when they went to dirt.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s. So yeah, Joey Cates. Yeah.
Another one. I
Yeah,
think
that's one, too.
same car. That's Lakeside. I see the fuel thing back there.
Yeah, I think I only had that one picture of your modified.
Yeah,
Is that
that was
right?
the only one I
Yeah.
could find.
I don't think I had any of your street stocks, and so yeah, that's one of Dad's cars. And
Yeah, I forget who it was drove
I
that.
had
It
we
wasn't
used to have
yours.
a bunch of them Malibus.
I had a couple of, I had two pictures that I actually bought, and I brought, and I left them out in the car there, but one of my championship, 80 championship street stock, and one of my modifieds.
Yeah.
I didn't bring them in.
I was gonna say, I think Ronnie was telling me something about you just won the 1 points championship
Officially.
officially. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I think there's a story kind of goes along with it. You want to tell us?
Um,
If you want to, you don't have to.
No, well, Eddie Atkins got one of them. We had one of them was a rain out. Rained Saturday morning. Day turned off beautiful. It was the last race at the end of the season, and Larry Castor called it off. So Sunday night we all went to Shawnee out in Topeka, and Eddie was leading me by 10 points or so going into the last night at Riverside. So when they canceled it, Eddie won the championship. We went to Shawnee. In the heat race, Eddie Atkins's right front ball joint broke. I finished the night, up in the A feature somewhere. If we'd have run Riverside, it would have broke there too. I would have won the championship.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of them.
Okay.
And then another one was at Riverside in the modified, and I won the Mike Hill Memorial, and they paid points up until the end of the season, and I was I actually was leading in points, and they decided to take the points away from the Mike Hill Memorial, which put me second.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So,
That's
thanks, Buzz.
that's a little sucky deal. Just a little
That's all right. I
sucky.
love him anyway.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
speaking of, I think that's him there.
Hey,
isn't it?
Buzz.
Man, I just can't hardly believe these cars. They really are some crazy stuff.
Yep.
Wow. Ron, did you have a favorite track?
Riverside, but Benton, Iowa, where we run our first Super Nationals. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful track. Shawnee was fun to drive with the old boilerplate, and but I had a '73 Monte Carlo, and after we run that track a couple times, the track owner come down and he said, Ron, he says, you got a beautiful car. And he said, but honestly, I don't think I can afford you anymore. And I said, why not? He says, you get on that wall. He said, you just go round and around and around. He says, you're tearing my wall to hell. Okay.
Okay. Who's this bear and where?
That's a Lakeside.
The old Lakeside?
That's Ron Whately. Yeah.
Oh, is that way?
Yeah.
Is that a corner? Looks like some banking there. It
Yeah, I
must be in
think
the
it's
corner.
up in turn 3.
That looks like three.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, that was one of the reasons I wanted to have Denny Crooks on.
I see.
If you
Yeah.
remember or not. You remember he went over the wall and down that embankment in 3
he
in a
did.
Carmen Ghia.
Oh, wow.
You remember that?
I don't remember that one. Wow.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
I told him, I said, well, Denny, here's one of the questions I want to ask you if you come on the show is what was it like going over that wall and down that
Wow,
embankment? I said,
yeah.
man, that's like 50 feet or something down there. Oh, hell, I don't remember any of that.
That's what he gets for driving a Carmen Ghia.
But he was one of the few people I know that did that and survived.
Oh, man.
Because I'm trying to remember if I remember anybody going over that wall, because that was a pretty good drop-off there.
It was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, that wall, as you can see there, is a good 6 feet or more,
Right.
as I recall. But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Well, Ron,
There's a few of them that go out, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you have to have been associated with a lot of folks over the years in your racing career. And are there any of those folks that you want to give a shout out to here tonight that helped you, raced with you?
I tell you what, just everybody that I raced with back then, we were a racing. To me, they were family. Every one of them was family. And Frank Hedge, Mike Fitzpatrick, Billy Deckman, Wayne Friedel, Eddie Atkins,
Yeah.
just everybody, Ed Lasley, it was like a family, and we might get a little rubbing on the racetrack, which is, that rubbing's racing, and our biggest fear was not the guy we raced with, but coming in and facing the wives. The wives are, like I said, they could...
The tongue's way sharper than the track.
Yeah, Tom Charles's wife, Dee Dee, and love you, Dee Dee, and Wayne Friedel's wife and everything. And there were times they didn't think too much of me.
Yeah. I think this is Ronnie here, isn't it? And one of the
It
babies.
is. It is.
One of the babies.
Yeah, and that's Frank Hedge. So that's Frank Hedge behind us.
Is it really?
And it is.
I thought that was Ronnie.
No, that's Ronnie Joe is my son. That's the
little
one. That's him.
Ah!
Yeah, now I look up to him. Yep. And I even had a little bit of hair back then.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
But yeah, no, there was, like I said, I love, everybody. They were all family.
Now this is Ronnie here.
Yeah, and that's
Ronnie.
Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Frank sitting behind him, and he's holding my son.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's not Ronnie, that's Frank.
Oh, I thought it was Ronnie. That's
No.
why I put them in there.
Nope,
I'll be
I don't
darned.
think so. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, that is lovely.
It is
It's Ronnie,
Joe.
isn't it?
I
Yeah,
gotta-
and your grandson?
I have aged a little. Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
my grandson, and,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, Adrian Whittam, like I said, he was, when we moved into the neighborhood, I always said he was the only kid that I couldn't run off. We had a race car, and so we started feeding him, and he was always around, and I put him to work on my race car, and it got to the point where if I was out of town working or something, I could call Adrian and said, hey, I need this on the race car, and it was done. I didn't have to double check anything, and like I said, he got his start in my garage up on North Walnut, and he's still, still doing that today, still racing today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Him and his son, and I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll take a seat in their car.
There you go. There you go.
Just for one last go around.
Well, yeah, they've been kind of after me a little bit. So.
I mean, that's when I first got to know Ron and Frank and those guys. But Adrian,
Yep.
he was always with Ron.
Oh,
and that's
really?
how I got to know Adrian
Yeah.
was with Ron.
Yeah.
Because he was right there all the time.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, Adrian was like, he was like a older brother to my son, and he was like another son to us. Like I said, he was always there, and I could count on him. And just, and you can't say that about everybody.
Exactly.
And I tell you what, you'll never see a harder worker than Adrian, still to this day. Matter of fact, I had a problem with my, got a 57 Chevy pickup, and I called him on a question last night, and he didn't get home till about 6:30 from Savannah, working on school buses up there, and getting ready to eat. And he said, well, I'll run to, he lives up in Lawson. He said, I'll run down and help you real quick. He gets up at 4:30. And I said, no, Adrian, it's not that big a deal. So, but like I said, that's just Adrian.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
Well, it's another one of those things about racing. You make these friendships that last a lifetime.
you do.
And
You do.
It's just a great thing.
The only thing
It
is
really
so many of them are no longer around.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Right.
They're just, Frank Hedge, Mike Fitzpatrick, Ed Lasley, Eddie Atkins, we quit looking in the obituaries because I keep thinking I'm going to see my name there, and I don't really want to see it.
No,
so.
no.
But you know, when it's my time, I've got friends.
Yeah.
You know, get
Yeah.
to
People waiting on you.
get to at least tailgate again.
Yeah, people waiting on you.
So-
But Ron, like I say, man, you were one of the guys I really wanted on this show. I'm
Well, I
so glad
appreciate
that you
it.
accepted this
I
to
appreciate
come and do
it.
it. It's been fun.
It has.
It really has, man. It really has been fun. And I hope you folks are enjoying these out there. I think we're going to try to continue doing this racing season still 2, 3, 4 weeks away. I think Greg Clemens is going to be back in town. I think I seen a post
Right, I did see that.
on Facebook that he's going to be back in Kansas City here real quick. But anyway, thanks a lot, Ron, like I say, for coming on. Bear, you got any closing comments, summations, or anything that you want to add?
No, not really. Just heck, we're getting stuff ready. We start up in about a month, so getting cars ready. Working on the E-mod. These modifieds nowadays are dune buggies to me. 'Cause I don't know nothing about them. See, I went from modified to street stock, so I'm back to street stock. But no, not really. Just appreciate you having me. Yeah, at least
you
we're
were
racing,
racing,
right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm lucky that.
Well, I knew you'd be the man because,
Well,
like I say, you guys have been so instrumental in getting
With
this
no
pure
limiters.
stock thing,
Yeah, no,
No
limiters.
limiters.
That's right. No
pure,
limiters.
pure stock thing off the
Yeah,
ground,
right,
and,
yeah.
and really getting it back. And I think everybody's really going to be thankful for you guys doing that. It's
Well,
really been a blessing.
It's a
to
great
the sport.
class, and like I think it was Gary said earlier, every track we go to, just seems like everybody gets along in the class good. I mean, I race at Warrensburg on Saturday. Everybody, good group of guys, and the same with Lakeside.
Yeah.
Everybody just, we don't have no problems.
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but it's bouncing around in my mind, and I feel like I have to say it, okay? But I think to me what it is in the camaraderie part and whatever getting along is, one, you don't have a ton of money invested.
Right.
You're not running for a ton of money.
Exactly.
It's not like you're going to make a living off this or even probably pay for the race car during the season.
Right.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. No.
So you're doing it for the fun of the sport, but just being able to get out there and run and race and compete
Exactly. Yeah.
is what it's about. Okay?
I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, this will be my 39th year, and I don't.
Wow.
This is all I've ever done, since kid in school.
You're talking about being born into it.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I mean,
I think we got a living, breathing example here.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks, I think that's going to wrap it up for the Pure Stock Special. I hope you have enjoyed the show. And like we tell everybody each week, if you enjoyed the show, call somebody, tell somebody, call them, start a watch party, do whatever. Just get more people involved because we're having a good time here and hope you do too. And we understand totally if you don't like the show because we probably didn't have your favorite driver on this week. But we can't have...
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
We can't have 200 or 300 people on at one time. I wish we could. But I know we didn't have your favorite driver on, but just like I say, check back, watch Cheeseworks videos on Facebook. We try to list as far ahead of time as we can as to who or what's going to be on the show so that you can call somebody and tell them. But I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. For my co-host, Darren the Bear Christie, Ron Parsley, and our other guests, John Renfro and Gary Billings Jr. I want to wish you all a good night. Hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye. I'm still live on YouTube, so hang just a second.
All righty. Yeah, ain't nothing like Riverside days. That was just the fun.
It was.
I mean, I literally, when it rained out, I almost cried because I had
I
to
did
wait
too.
another week.
I did